Cristiano D'Amata. Now, our top three qualifiers, Didier Andre, Philip Peter, and, of course, Oriol Servia, their best finish of the season is a second. And let's face it, the psychological difference between finishing second and winning your breakthrough race is huge. They're going to try and get it done, but I'll tell you what, they'll be looking in the mirrors, looking for Cristiano D'Amata.
You mentioned Didier Andre, the Frenchman, his second pole of 1998. He first accomplished that at Long Beach. He was 3/4 of a second faster than Philip Peter, who's starting second for the second straight race. In the second row, Oriol Servia, Peter's Doricott Racing teammate, next to the man who's second in championship points, Guy Smith. Row 3 finds Chris Simmons and Derek Higgins, who was on the podium with a second-place finish a week ago at Vancouver. Brian Cunningham and Cristiano D'Amata, the season champion and a 4-time winner this year, occupy the 4th row. Then it's Jeff Boss and Luis Garcia Jr. in row 5. Tony Renna, who won in the Oval at Michigan in spectacular fashion, with the newcomer Wim Ekmans from Belgium in row 6. The 7th row, Naoki Hattori and Mario Dominguez, the Mexican driver, making his second start for the Quaker State Go team. Shigeaki Hattori and Clint Mears are our 8th row contenders. In row 9, Andy Bosch and Philippe Giappone. And Philippe, 4th in championship points, has had a tough weekend thus far. Ayrton Dare from Brazil and California's Casey Mears in row 10. Then it's Rodolfo Levine, Mike Bortkowski, who started 4th and finished 4th at Vancouver, having a tough time here at Laguna Seca. And completing a 23-car field, it is Corey Witherell. Now, a bit earlier, our pit reporter Rick DeBrule talked with our Sea-Doo Ski-Doo pole sitter Didier Andre about his concerns regarding the start of this event.
Well, after start, definitely turn 1 and 2 is going to be an important turns. And turn 1 and 2, it's an off-camber turn, so all the tar, all the cars have the oversteer tendency going to this turn. So that's why you can see all the car, you know, sliding a lot from the rear. And definitely I'm going to watch my rear mirror to see if someone wants to pass me going to this turn.
Well, Didier wanting to watch those rear view mirrors and make sure that all the problems are behind him as he will establish the pace on this spectacular circuit. Jan, drivers love this place. I know you used to be a driving instructor here. Tell us what it's like and what these drivers, so many of them rookies, are feeling right now.
Well, obviously there's a lot of apprehension because there's always a lot of stress when you approach a race. But when you go to a place like Laguna Seca that physically is demanding, you're very nervous at this time when you're behind the pace car, and you're really trying to just get it together. You're much less nervous after you take the green flag.
We mentioned rookies. 5 of the top 7 qualifiers are first-year drivers in the Indy Lights Championship Series. And so what an experience, particularly as they'll work their way up the hill. We talk about dramatic elevation changes, about 180 feet difference top to bottom around this circuit. We'll see them in the corkscrew momentarily. Right now, let's go to the pits and Rick DeBrule.
Just a quick thought before the race. 3 drivers to watch out for: Cristiano D'Amata, Derek Higgins, and Philippe Giappone. All 3 of them in the morning warm-up were actually faster than they were in qualifying yesterday. So at the start of this race, they're going to be ready to move up.
Yeah, well, keeping an eye on that. Our field will be lining up as they wend their way down through the corkscrew. The elevation drop there. Lights are out on the pace car. It'll be pulling off at turn 11, and the field will very slowly come around the corner and work their way up the hill, anticipating a green flag. And look at that, beautifully aligned even as they enter the turn. Now the speed picks up. The green flag is waved. You see it in the upper left, and they charge up the hill. A little kink in turn 1. And now, oh my, hang on and hold your breath as they fan out for positions.
One thing about getting a nice, tidy start, it sure gets everybody to turn 2 at the same time.
And it looks like everybody has worked their way through the first couple of configurations with no problems. And it was Didier Andre. You see him in the red and blue jumping out in front. The Doricott cars are right behind him, 2nd and 3rd.
That was certainly a picture-perfect start. You cannot ask for more even rows, 2 by 2, all the way up to the green flag. That was awesome.
Oriol Servia running in the 3rd spot. Philip Peter is 2nd, identically painted cars as we watch the leaders. And then right behind them, the Tasman car. And that's Cristiano D'Amata, who started back in 8th position. He's already 4th.
That's what you can do if you stand on it and go around the outside of turn number 2. And you can see that he's very, very racy. Rick DeBrule told us he was the fastest man in the warm-up. He knows it. And of course, like we said, Gary, these top 3 guys have not won a race this year. Cristiano D'Amata certainly has, and and they're going to be worried. In this case, Oriol Servia in white and blue with D'Amata behind him.
Completing the opening lap, and I think, Jan, it becomes the theme of the day. Everybody with something to prove, even though Cristiano D'Amata, who's in 4th place, has wrapped up the driving championship this year. And he is putting some pressure on Servia right now.
He has just gone by one of the favorite places to pass. That is the approach to turn number 2. He's going to be patient. He was able to pick up 4 spots, as you said, Gary, on the opening lap. Now he's just going to pick and wait for his opportunities.
You mentioned that word patience. How hard, especially for young drivers, many of them competing here for the first time, is it to be patient?
Well, it is difficult, especially when you know that your car is fast. But the thing is that Cristiano D'Amata is past that. He has already had his test of patience. He's already won the championship. Now he can kind of sit back there. He's not sitting. He's working very hard to stay where he is, but he has enough experience now. It makes it much easier.
So the top of the hill, spectacular sight up there, but even more spectacular in the cockpit as the bottom falls away and they come down through the dramatic corkscrew.
I want to mention that Cristiano D'Amata this morning talked that he actually has a lot more pressure this weekend on him because his team, the car has gone through 4 engines. The one they put in yesterday for qualifying was down in horsepower. They had to put another one in last night. He said, you know, this is almost more pressure than winning the championship because he wants to win so badly for the team that's worked so hard this week getting those 4 engines in the car.
Boy, that team must be exhausted with that kind of work.
Well, of course, one of those was that he had bumped the wall and it broke the actual motor mount off of the engine itself. As Rick said, one was down on power and one was just mileaged out. So certainly these V6 engines are extremely durable, but in his case, now it looks like he has a good one.
Well, and the one that broke the motor mount also impacted his time on the track during qualify, contributing to the fact that he started in 8th position. More from Laguna Seca after these messages.
If it takes forever, I will wait for you for 1,000 summers. I will wait for you.
There's certain things you just can't live without.
Okay. I'm back.
A good receiver is one of them. Visa's the other.
Sure. Yeah.
Don't tell the guys about the flowers.
Official car to the NFL and everywhere you want to be.
Introducing the Midas battery. Now for just $49.99 with rebate. Batteries, brand new from Midas.
Cellular DNA. Aliens within ourselves. Waiting to strike. Parasite.
The worst foe lies within. Parasite Eve.
여러분, 한국 타이어의 우수성을 직접 증명해야 합니다. 우리는 해냈습니다.
Hankook Tires.
Today's coverage of the Indy Lights Championship Series from Laguna Seca is being brought to you by Dayton Tire, performance for every road. And by General Nutrition Centers. Live your best life with General Nutrition Centers. Over 3,500 locations across the country to help you live well. Early in the competition in Indy Lights Championship racing at Laguna Seca, your leader there at the right of the screen is Didier Andre, who started from the pole position. And many times in the past, drivers have been able to win from the pole. That's why you want to be able to start up there. And as much fun as this racetrack is, Jan, it is tough to make a pass unless the man in front of you somehow makes an error.
It definitely is, and we look back through the field to see some more drivers in contest. We ride with Higgins, and he is trying to chase down Guy Smith. Turn number 5. Come through there in 3rd gear, about 110 miles an hour. And now you're going to start working your way up the hill to the famous corkscrew like you talked about, Gary. 130 miles an hour. He might try a pass here. If you're going to do it, he'd go to the left. Boy, he really downshifted awfully early. You can see some smoke from Guy Smith, meaning that he locked a left front brake. coming downhill, third gear, 120 miles an hour. He stays in fourth. Is he going to go to the left? Yes, here he goes. Look out, baby, here I come.
And Derek Higgins takes over fifth place with a great move at the bottom of the hill, taking over the spot from Guy Smith. And now Smith will try to return the favor as he puts the pressure on in the red machine.
And I don't think that Higgins will leave the door open there, but actually he did give Smith a chance to take a look to the inside, but Higgins had a little more speed.
You know, Higgins actually was able to test here. They've been complaining this year they hadn't been able to test very much. They came here before Vancouver, got some time under his belt, and he said if he had come here without testing and gone through that corkscrew on Friday morning with all the other cars here on the track, he would have been scared to death. He was so glad he did it, because up until that time, the only preparation he had was a video game he played watching the corkscrew.
Right behind these fellows, another battle for position taking place. The Lucas Place cars. You've got Brian Cunningham in the 15 car and Mr. Boss in car number 14. A pair of bosses in the field. That's Jeff Boss in the 14 car, teammate to Cunningham.
And anytime you're out on the racetrack and you're racing your teammate, even though you desperately want to beat your teammate, you have to be so careful that you don't make contact when you're trying to pass him. And it's definitely one of the toughest things out there, because you certainly treat him as another competitor, but boy, if you ever make contact with your teammate, when you get back to the pit road, you're in huge trouble.
I cannot imagine what that would be like when you came up to the team owner and said, "Boss, I don't know how to explain this," but you would not be happy man, I'm sure.
I've been there, Gary.
This is Jeff Boss in 8th place. He's in the 14 car. His teammate Cunningham is right in front of him. Jeff Boss this year had a 2nd place finish on the streets of Long Beach. He was 3rd of the streets of Detroit, a 4th on the oval at Milwaukee, and right now he's running in 8th place.
I was just going to say that they were going through the newer portion of the circuit that has very little banking. As you see when they come onto the older portion of the racetrack, most of these corners have quite a bit of camber or banking to them, and they take a specific line through the corners. You can get away with a little wider line in the flat section in the infield.
Jeff Boss actually thinks he's got a little bit of a secret weapon here today. He thinks he's in better shape than a lot of the other drivers out here. He's been working out a lot. He says this is going to be a very physical race. He thinks the only guys that will be able to duke it out at the end are not only the guys who save their cars, but the guys who are in better shape, because he thinks that that's going to be that little extra edge. Obviously, he's going to need a little extra more to get by his teammate right here.
Well, they'll be sweeping by you now, Rick, as they come up the hill past the pits at Laguna Seca. And again, you're watching a race for 7th and 8th places between the teammates. Our leader, Didier Andre, has already opened up a slight advantage. Well, it's just a slight advantage up front. We'll check them out now. Here's Andre, and you can see the interval over Philip Peter, who runs 2nd. Peter's teammate, Servia, running 3rd, and then Cristiano Damana for the Tasman team is a rock-solid 4th. And it looks to me like Damana is in a position where he is filling up the mirrors of Oriol Servia.
But that shows you how close these cars are, because Cristiano Damana was able to pick up 4 spots on the start, and now he's pretty much stuck. He is stuck behind the 2 Doricott cars. And by the way, Bob Doricott, his business is local. It's up in the Sunnyvale area, and they do have a California-based team up in Sonoma. And right there, Servia had a little bit of trouble on the approach to the corkscrew, but Cristiano Damana was not quite close enough to capitalize on it.
Doricott team hosting a social function that's of some renown among the lights drivers each weekend when they come to Laguna Seca. And certainly their drivers have really stepped up. Parker Johnstone, as a driving coach with them, was telling us earlier this weekend that he sat the drivers down and he just said, guys, it's time to decide, what do you want to do with your career? And I think they've responded in pretty darn good fashion, Jan, with the 2nd and 3rd place qualifying effort. They continue to run 2nd and 3rd. Our leader is Didier Andre. He has led from the pole. We'll take a quick break. We'll return to Laguna Seca in just a few moments.
This time it's personal. Oscar De La Hoya, Julio Cesar Chavez, Ultimate Revenge, live on pay-per-view, Friday, September 18th. Order Ultimate Revenge from your participating cable company, and you'll get a free oil change from Jiffy Lube, a $29 value. Jiffy Lube every 3,000 miles with over 95 locations in Southern California. There's no substitute for the best. Call your cable company today to order Ultimate Revenge live on pay-per-view September 18th.
Antelope Valley Center, the best place to be in the valley. Lamppost Pizza is offering a manager special. Large 2-topping pizza for $10.99. The greatest tasting pizza in town. Find out why snowboarders from all over Southern California drive to Lancaster for their equipment. Powder and Sun Sports. Merle Norman, the place for the custom face. Come in and try one of our spa pedicures. We have free 5-minute facials and makeovers. Off 15th Street West, north of Avenue K in the Mervyn Center.
Dante, I'm telling you, Savaresi's the man.
No way.
Frederic, who's a better pure goal scorer, Savaresi or Diaz Arce?
Be real, Savaresi.
Coming up tomorrow night on ABC Sports, Monday Night Football, and an intriguing matchup at the brand new start time of 8 o'clock Eastern. The San Francisco 49ers with Steve Young pictured here going against the Washington Redskins. 49ers had some drama in week 1 with an overtime victory over the Jets. Washington losing to the New York Giants. That's tomorrow night, 8 o'clock Eastern on ABC. Derek Higgins, car number 88, trying to close ground on Cristiano D'Amata. We go back on board and ride with Derek Higgins.
And Derek Higgins is one of the fastest cars on the racetrack. The last time around, he was 0.8 of a second quicker than D'Amata, who he chases. He's making his way up to the corkscrew again. 130 miles an hour. He's going to go into 5th gear, get on the brakes and try and keep it straight, then down to 2nd. The road just drops away from you. You try to keep it straight. You hammer it. You're up to 3rd, then to 4th. Just kind of slip and slide through there. He went to 5th gear that time before coming down the hill and didn't downshift. Now he'll go all the way down to 1st gear. Slowest corner on the racetrack.
And this is where he made the pass on Smith early. Oh, we've got a problem. Mike Borkowski, car number 41, nosing his car back off the middle of the track. But clearly this could be a difficult time here. Yellow flag being waved locally, and that will alert anybody coming up the hill. But it's been a tough weekend for Mike Borkowski.
It has, and you know, he is way up the hill. Certainly he must have lost it at the exit of turn number 6, but he was halfway to the corkscrew.
He's backed it up. Now he gets it going forward just as cars come through there. And we'll take a look and maybe we can see what happened. Oh.
Beyond the exit, he drops 2 wheels.
There you go.
Thankfully, just lets it go up the center of the racetrack, and some nice avoiding action by some of the other competitors.
Now back to live action. You can see that Borkowski got it pointed in the right direction, so he comes down the hill now after running the right side off into the gravel trap.
And that's an easy corner to have happen. You can see as you look up the hill here that once you get past that white curve, the next thing you'll hit is dirt. And Didier Andre, our leader, was nowhere near that curve.
Yeah.
That car is working good. Here, look at Higgins. He is the green and white and red car now that is closed up behind Cristiano D'Amata, and now we've got a 3-car race here.
3-car battle for 3rd place. Oriol Servia currently 3rd on car number 32. He leads this trio now as they come up the hill and under the bridge at the start-finish line.
We talked about patience before. We talked about Cristiano D'Amata and his patience. He's now the meat in the sandwich. He doesn't want to be patient. He's got to be aggressive.
And Higgins has put about 4 or 5 seconds up on Guy Smith after he made the pass to pick up that position as he pressures the 2 men right in front of him.
You saw Cybervision on the back of the wing there. That's a new sponsor for Dorcott Racing for this weekend. And at the moment, these 2 cars getting a lot of airtime.
This is the 13th of 14 rounds of this championship series this year. The season finale coming up at the end of October down at Fontana on the 2-mile oval. And you talk about contrast in venues. What they'll be experiencing there as opposed to what they're experiencing right now is about as dramatic a change as you can find in racing.
That's a great angle to see how quickly that corkscrew drops away from you. And I believe it was Rick that said Derek Higgins was so glad he had had an opportunity to test before he came here. The very first time you go down the corkscrew, it is just terrifying. But once you do it a few times, It actually gets easy.
It's like riding a roller coaster. The more you do it, the more you seem to enjoy it. You just want to ride and ride. Cristiano D'Amata running in 4th place after starting 8th. He's looking to get into Champ Cars next year. So we talked to Chip Ganassi about his marketability in kart.
On paper, he looks great. I mean, the guy's won races. He's been on ovals. He's been on road courses. He's been to the circuits that we go to. And he's shown to be very fast, certainly the class of the field.
Well, an interesting observation from Chip Ganassi, whose team has really become a dominant player in the Champ Cars, winning championships with his drivers Alex Zanardi and Jimmy Vasser 3 consecutive years now. So a possible opportunity maybe to get into one of the Ganassi cars for a test and talk about pressure. That would be the next step for Cristiano D'Amata. But Jan, I know you're convinced this kid's got the talent. He can compete.
Well, I'm convinced that he has the talent, and we also heard from Steve Horn earlier today that he is convinced that Cristiano D'Amata will be in Champ Car racing next year. He couldn't tell us where, but he is convinced that with his help, and it won't be, he said, by the way, for Tasman and Steve Horn, but in another team, he really expects this guy to be in Champ Cars for 99.
Well, the youthful champion of 1998 currently runs 4th. You see our leader and the interval for Didier Andre over Philip Peter as we take the break.
High-speed corner, down every flat-out straightaway, every Indy Lights car runs on Dayton Daytona tires. Dayton, performance for every road.
p.m. tonight, Monday through Saturday at 7 and twice on Sunday, only on ESPN2.
We welcome you back to Laguna Seca, and while we were away, a problem at turn 11 for the man we had been talking about, Cristiano D'Amata, because pressure had been applied by Derek Higgins. Let's take a look and replay, Jan.
Derek Higgins comes to the inside, and watch carefully the front tire. It's going to make contact right in this area between the two cars. And if you're Cristiano D'Amata, there's absolutely nothing you can do about that. He was trying to protect his position. Derek Higgins got in here aggressively. Just a case where Higgins didn't quite have position, and then his car pushed. The car didn't turn. I'm sure he didn't mean to go over and make that contact with D'Amata. But as they approach the apex, watch the front tires of Higgins. He tries to turn the car. He goes over. D'Amata tried to give him room, but Higgins, unfortunately, punts him right out of the way.
Cristiano D'Amata did keep the car running, got it pointed in the right direction. He slipped from 4th place down to 9th. He is currently in 9th. And you wonder how much junk he picked up on the tires there and how much of the effectiveness he may have lost. Meanwhile, Higgins on the move once again. He is making a pass as he gets inside Philip Peter. So the man in number 88 is a man on a mission right now. Derek Higgins charging toward the front.
Well, that time Derek Higgins, when he did get to the inside, he was sure that he stayed on the brakes and kept some weight on the front tires to be sure he didn't get over into the Dorcott car. So he learned his lesson, but unfortunately at the detriment to Cristiano D'Amata.
By the way, checked in with the team. Cristiano has not said anything. The important thing there being that he hasn't said that the car is broken. He's still out there. Whether it's working at 100% is another issue, but he hasn't called back to tell the team that he has any specific problem yet.
And we should point out as we watch Derek Higgins that Oriol Servia had gotten past his teammate Philip Peter just prior to that move by Higgins. So Higgins moving up one notch, taking over third place with that pass.
So Servia through there first. Now we see Higgins. I said that Higgins was one of the fastest cars on the racetrack. He continues to do so. So now he will try and see if he can close in on Servia and do the same kind of thing to him that he did to his teammate.
Here's an interesting thought for you, Jan. In talking with the team this morning about what kind of setup they were going to use in that car, I was asking them because they're racing, the lights cars are racing after the champ cars, which means it's very different than the track they practiced on this morning and warmed up on. I asked if they were going to make any changes in the car predicting, and he said, yeah, we're going to do that. A lot of other teams said that they weren't going to. Guy Smith, for example, said, no, we're leaving it the way it is. We don't want to risk it. But think about this. They made that change. Not quite sure what it is, and it looks like it may pay off. The question is, Jan, would you do that, try to predict the future?
Well, the thing is that he said that he really liked his car in the morning warm-up when it was full of fuel, because he said it settled down the back of the car. Well, remember, your car does not stay full of fuel for the whole race. It may not be as good here near the end.
Pretty good action behind Philip Peter, too, as Brian Cunningham and Jeff Boss are right there knocking on his rear wing as we watch that trio right now. Whoa, Cunningham getting a little hot into the head of the corkscrew. He holds the position, however, as he drops back just a couple of lengths.
That's what you call aborting a pass. You think about it, you start to get your car in position, and then all of a sudden your brain says, abort, abort, and you slam on the brakes, and he does it again.
Whoa, Philip Peter leaves the door open, not quite. Cunningham right there taking a look. Now Jeff Boss challenging his teammate. They're side by side going up the hill.
And he's trying to push his teammate into the wall. That is not a very safe thing to do, going up the front straightaway. He saw that he was a sitting duck. He had already blown the corner. Now they might both get by Peter.
Yep, Peter loses one spot to one of the Lucas Place cars as Cunningham makes the pass. So Cunningham picks up the 5th position. Cristiano D'Amata now looming behind this group as he's making up some ground after his adventure in turn 11 with Derek Higgins.
Now D'Amata is bound to be mad. And D'Amata, yeah, look at that. He's starting to get a little more aggressive and a little less patient than what we saw earlier.
That's Luis Garcia Jr. in the white car right in front of Cristiano D'Amata. D'Amata has that chartreuse or yellow wing there. That's the 4th car in this group.
This thing's going to get good. We've got a couple of teammates that are mad at each other. We got Philip Peter that seems to have some trouble with the handling of his car. It seems to be pushing. He can't seem to get it into the apex of the corners. And then behind this, we have Cristiano D'Amata that wants revenge. So this could get good.
I should mention, you know, Philip Peter's got a little extra stuff on his mind this weekend. He's getting married next weekend to his girlfriend, Helena. So he's got that on his mind as well as what to do with these guys behind him.
The wedding will take place in Switzerland next week, before the final race of the season coming up at the end of October at Fontana.
So I guess this is his bachelor party, and he's about to lose a position here going into turn number 2. Boss goes to the inside, and that is how you get it done. That's a nice, safe way to be aggressive and get it done safely and smoothly.
Boy, it looks like Philip Peter got some handling problems. That back end was jumping out a little bit that time, and he must be fighting an ill-handling race car.
He had said throughout the weekend that his car had been pushing, that they keep changing the car, and he gets a little bit better. And look, he lost some speed there at the exit of the corner, and he might lose 2 more spots.
And there was something on the racetrack back there in the corner. I don't know. It looked like a large something, whatever it was. Debris of some kind.
It's been there for the last few laps, and Garcia got a little bit of a wiggle there, so here comes D'Amata.
D'Amata with a real good run going up to the head of the corkscrew. Will he try the pass here?
Well, he would have if he would have had some room, but Garcia did not give him the inside lane.
Let's see what happens when they get to the bottom of the hill and come to turn 11, the slowest turn on this 2.3-mile circuit.
I'll be interested to see if Cristiano gets real aggressive and forces the issue, because he doesn't need to. Peter has decided that the car is bad. He's going to hit pit road.
Yeah, Philip Peter heads toward the pits. Meanwhile, Didier Andre, who's led from the initial green flag, still enjoying an advantage of 7 seconds over Oriol Servia.
If you thought AT&T One Rate Plus made calling simple at 10 cents a minute,
a little too simple, maybe.
Now there's something that'll have you calling even more.
What, are you sick?
Introducing 5 cents a minute on weekends.
That's half off.
AT&T One Rate Plus. 10 cents a minute, anytime, anywhere, and now 5 cents a minute on weekends.
How do you sleep at night?
Some of you dialing perhaps a little too hard.
To get 5-cent weekends, call now to enroll.
Make our house the Best Buy digital house.
Mind if we come in?
Come on in.
We're the Best Buy Residence Evaluation Team. You've got digital in the house? We're gonna find it, Dan.
It's a DVD.
Digital couch?
Digital phone, sir.
That's where that went.
Digital camera.
Do you get a better picture with digital?
Yes, it's a lot clearer.
Sir, DSS.
Digital camera, 900 megahertz phone, digital phone, DVD, CD player, DSS. You got HD TV yet?
The Best Buy Digital House. Now that's a great idea.
You're digital Dan, aren't you?
Are you old school? Old school, like Earl the Pearl, shaking and baking.
Mark Fidrich, Bobby Orr.
Joe Lewis, old school.
Old school is Paul Bear Bryant.
Like Pistol Pete.
Illy Funkster socks.
Black socks.
Short shorts.
Definitely old school.
Old school like me.
Julius Erving.
Dr. J.
Running down like in the 70s with a big afro.
Got it going on.
I can play basketball with anybody.
Now that's old school.
Coming up Tuesday, Outside the Lines, presented by AT&T, presents Stadia Mania, an intriguing program at 7:30, noting the boom in construction for professional sports arenas around the country. $15 billion being spent for some 78 new or planned arenas. Outside the Lines, Tuesday, 7:30 Eastern. Cristiano Damata is in the pits. We are under full course yellow. His day is done. We've had some drama while we were away because Damata was trying to pass Luis Garcia Jr., and this was the result.
Well, you can see the car did not even turn at the bottom of the corkscrew. He had already made his move past Garcia, and I believe when they did in turn number 5, they touched. He got to the bottom of the corkscrew. The car just went straight. It got high-sided there, and obviously too much damage. He now visits with Rick.
Standing here with Cristiano Damata, let's talk about what happened. First off, the one that put you out of the race. What happened?
I touched wheels with Garcia going into 5, and I bent my front suspension. So I tried to keep on going. I thought that just the steering wheel was bent, you know, wasn't straight. So, but just when I got to the corkscrew, I found out that, you know, the car had the bend wishbone at the front. So when I turned left, the car just went straight. So I got the curb and went the dirt and almost put into the wall.
Frustrating day for the new Indy Lights champion.
So Cristiano Damata, a 4-time winner this season, has clinched a championship, but his day is complete. Now as we go green, Didier Andre is the leader. Philip Peter in 31 challenging is down a lap. So let's not be confused. This is not a battle for the lead. Mike Borkowski also down a lap. Then the next car, the teammate to Peter, Oriol Servia, is in second place. So currently the third car in the procession is in second place. But Philip Peter trying to do everything to get himself unlapped in number 31 after he had to visit the pits.
Well, that's not a whole lot of consolation for Didier Andre that Philip Peter is a lap down, because he's got to be very, very concerned as close as these two cars are running together right now.
We can explain what happened and why Philip Peter fell back to start with. He had a wing, part of his front wing that was actually broken. They came in, changed the nose. That's why he's now back in the hunt.
Well, interesting implication. The Doricott drivers, even though Peter is down a lap, if he challenges and for whatever reason there should be any contact with Didier Andre, that opens the door for Oriol Servia, who's running in second place, third car here. Then you've got Borkowski, who is down a lap next in the procession, and Derek Higgins in third place on the actual running order, car number 88.
And Gary, earlier you talked about Parker Johnstone and the conversations that he had with these next two drivers that you see, both Philip Peter and Oriol Servia. And basically what he was trying to tell them is that you just don't settle for second place. You don't settle for third. You have to go out there with the attitude that you're going to win. And you can see that even Philip Peter, who is a lap down, is trying harder than he ever has to try and get that lap back because he doesn't want to give up.
Oh, look at this traffic jam back here behind Guy Smith. Borkowski, the lap car, pulling over and letting the other contenders get through, including Naoki Hattori, who runs in 7th place in the cool car, number 27.
Cunningham and Boss, both the Lucas Place cars just coming through the screen there, are still in contest, and I think there's going to be some words between the two after Cunningham really pushed Jeff Boss over against the wall up the front straightaway.
And even more traffic a little bit further back. Standing out, trying to find the line that'll get the job done. Let's go on board here with one of the Matco cars. This is Tony Renna.
That was a big handful of correction coming off the exit of turn number 6. He approaches the corkscrew and he locked the rear brakes there just briefly. And you can see the front, a little bit of smoke coming off the car in front.
Tony Renna back in action. He missed the race last week at Vancouver because of a broken clavicle. And he is back in racing now, and we ride with him.
Again, he'll go down to first gear. Sounds like he's having a little trouble on the downshifts, and he had some push there. He had some push in the middle of the corner, and you can see it affected his exit and his straight line speed. That's Luis Garcia just ahead of him.
Garcia in 8th place, Renna in 9th.
He's real wide. He's going to try and take a little different line to see if he can get a better exit, and it worked pretty well.
Where you can really see with this shot just how busy these drivers are, constantly having to take that right hand off the wheel and make the shifts. We're at Laguna Seca, and we're watching Indy Lights Championship competition. Didier Andre still our leader.
This man has a secret. It's a secret that'll give you the edge in your career, sculpt your body, and take your love life to new heights. What's the secret? It's Men's Health, America's #1 men's magazine. Each issue brings you tons of useful stuff from the world's foremost experts and reveals how you can build amazing abs with just 3 exercises, lose weight and still eat great, slash your cholesterol 30 points in 30 days, plus have great sex every day until you die. Call now for your free trial issue. Get the latest health breakthroughs for men, answers to your most intimate questions, plus step-by-step pull-out exercise posters. Find out what vitamins you need, how to strip away stress and relax instantly. Get a flat stomach without sit-ups, and double your income fast. Women, why do they have men spinning in circles? And what do they want? We tell you. Discover grooming secrets that help you look your best, buyer's guides for the latest gear, plus the ultimate adventure getaways for men. Learn how to resolve arguments fast and keep your relationships going strong. Get the latest secrets for men. Call now for your free trial issue. Keep it and get 1 year of Men's Health for just $21.97. Act now and get 3 essential guidebooks absolutely free. Discover nutritious guy meals and quick and healthy cooking for men. Sculpt a fantastic physique with burn fat, build muscle, and add sizzle to your sex life with the Men's Health Guide to Ultimate Intimacy. That's 1 year of Men's Health secrets plus 3 fabulous gifts absolutely free. There's no risk or obligation. Cancel anytime for a full refund. Discover how to supercharge your workouts, become the perfect lover, and much, much more. Call now for this special offer, Men's Health. Get in on the secret.
Call 1-800-369-8844 now to get your 3 free books. That's 1-800-369-8844.
Recently, Shigeaki Hattori, one of the Lights drivers, had some special company at the track, courtesy of his sponsor, Epson, foster children from northern Indiana, spending a weekend with him and getting the full VIP treatment and, of course, a few pointers from Shigeaki Hattori. Shigeaki currently in 13th place in this event. There he is in car number 16. And right behind him, Clint Mears in the white number 8.
Good to see the Mears gang back. They've missed a few races. Lack of sponsorship. They will be running this race, and hopefully they will come and contest the final race of the year in Fontana, and that is a place they both should be competitive.
Well, Clint Mears had great success there. He won that race a year ago, the 200-mile-per-hour speeds. Also, a 4th car in this particular group is the Team Matco car to Renna, Chris Simmons in 15th place. That's the red and white number 78.
Hattori using all the road there, dropped the wheel just at the exit of the curb.
Well, a drive-through penalty, we're being told, for Brian Cunningham in car number 15. A blocking infraction has been called by the stewards, and so he has to visit pit road and drive through, and we'll see how much it ends up costing him. He had been involved in that race, up there for 7th place.
And I would say that the move that the stewards didn't like was the move going up the front straightaway with his teammate, the one that made me jump out of my seat. And that was when he was trying to be passed by Jeff Boss. He moved over to the left and pushed his teammate up against the wall. They don't let these guys get away with it here in Indy Lights.
Here's Derek Higgins. He continues to run in 3rd place, and we ride with him. He started this event in the 6th position, coming off the 2nd place finish last Sunday on the streets of Vancouver, British Columbia.
Now, you heard him actually skip gears when he downshifted. Now, we sort of got out of the habit of that because all of the Champ cars now have sequential gearboxes. You have to go down through each and every gear. Well, let's see if he skips here. See, he just goes right down to 1st gear, because with an H pattern, you can go into whatever gear you want at any time. You don't have to go sequentially through them.
Oh, problem for one of the mirrors. This is Casey in the MCI number 9. He has come off course, coming down the hill from the corkscrew. And again, you can see that possibly he's high centered. Oh, look at the damage. I didn't even notice this immediately on the right rear. He made some substantial contact. Damage to the wing and, of course, all the suspension assembly. And this will result in, I would imagine, a full course yellow. That is the case.
He comes to the inside of Cunningham.
Oh, Cunningham rides the bumps.
And
there it is.
Major contact between the 2 cars. Now, this would have been after Cunningham had already done a drive-through. So he had already got in trouble for blocking. And then, unfortunately, he now makes contact between he and Casey Mears.
There's Casey out of the car. Appears to be okay. The kart safety team is right there on the spot to make sure that he is okay. And you see the flags being waved vigorously by the volunteer corner workers here at Laguna Seca. They do a terrific job. And that's a tough break. Cunningham is now out of the car and down in the pits, and I think we'll probably find out from him as we check to Rick DeBrule.
All right, Brian, let's talk about what happened. We just saw it, but what happened from inside the cockpit?
Yeah, I got to apologize to Casey and the team. Clearly had a faster car at that point. We got called in for stop and go or drive-through, and I went deep into the chicane, or the corkscrew, to try to keep him from passing me. I locked him up, and when I turned, I got on top of that heavy rumble strip, and it kicked me to the outside. Unfortunately, Casey was there, and I feel real bad for him.
Got to be impressed, though. How many times do you talk to a driver like this who says, gee, I'm sorry?
Well, it's been a tough day for Brian Cunningham. We've been watching him battle his teammate Jeff Boss through much of the day, and then after the drive-through penalty, he ends up on the rumble strips and into Casey Mears, and both men now sidelined. Riding with Chris Simmons at Laguna Seca, where Didier Andre is the leader, but we're under full course yellow, so Serbia, Higgins, and company have closed up. We'll be going green when we come back.
Are you ready, racing fans? All the biggest names in NASCAR are in Palmdale, and they're located at one place, the Sports Warehouse. The Sports Warehouse is where you'll find all your NASCAR collectibles. Looking for die-cast Winston Cup and Busch cars? We got racing champs new and hard to find. Revell, Hasbro, and Action. NASCAR apparel galore. Hats, shirts, license plates, and frames, bumper stickers, pencils, pennants, keychains, and banners. The Sports Warehouse, 2053 East Palmdale Boulevard. Race in today.
An independent survey recently ranked LA Cellular #1 in overall call quality, better than AirTouch, Pac-Bell, and Sprint. And naturally, being ranked the #1 wireless service means a lot to us. But on September 28th, you'll find out what it means to our customers.
Do the lights have to be so hot? I don't like the lights. No.
Call 1-800-LA's Best for the #1 wireless service.
I think LSU wins the game, but I agree with Coach. I think it'll be a low-scoring, close football game with LSU winning.
And then Monday, Lee goes to Birmingham to lecture us on the SEC tiebreak.
Well said, my friend, but you never know because of the fact here. You won't believe that Alabama last week gave up over 500 yards of defense by a football team that wasn't that good. Remember, that's the first time since 1991 that they did that. They got to get focused or they won't get by this one.
College game day is on. Saturdays at 11 a.m. Eastern.
Well, we remind you once again that the Indy Lights season finale is coming up on the High Bank 2-mile Super Speedway at Fontana in Southern California. You may recall that last year these guys just put on a spectacular show. Speed stopping 200 miles per hour and an occasional bang against the wall. Rick Mears' son, Clint, stole the show, picked up his second career lights victory. Catch all the action Sunday, November 1st, 8 o'clock Eastern Time. You will not want to miss it. We saw such a terrific race on the 2-mile oval in Michigan earlier this year. Everybody can hardly wait to see what unfolds at Fontana. We're under yellow still here at Laguna Seca and along the scenic Monterey Peninsula in Central California. Didier Andre is our leader. Derek Higgins is running in second, or Oriol Servia is running in second place. Derek Higgins in third. Guy Smith in the fourth spot, and Jeff Boss completing the top 5.
And Jeff Boss, certainly one of those guys that has been patient. We have seen some drivers that were not patient and are now in the pits. So thankfully, he has an opportunity to see if maybe he has an opportunity, maybe possibly to make the podium.
Don't forget, RPM tonight, totally dedicated to everything that has racing associated with it. 7 o'clock. Eastern Time, 4 Pacific, weekdays. John Kernan and company, and my colleague Jan Bikas always chimes in on Tuesdays. Hope you can catch RPM tonight. Well, we anticipate green the next time when we come back. Time is running out. Only 4 laps to go here at Laguna Seca.
The average American vehicle is almost 10 years old and more complicated to repair than ever before.
That's why we're professional technicians. Federated gives us training and tech support.
Federated gives us the training we want.
And the tech support we need.
For trusted professional automotive service and top quality parts, depend on your Federated Car Care Center.
For professional service and top quality parts, you can trust Federated Car Care Centers.
Look for the Federated Car Care Center near you.
4 tires fueling out the door.
Feel the heat radiating out of your skin.
It's nasty hot.
We asked some of the hottest guys in the pits to switch antiperspirants.
Ultra Dry Degree, body heat activated.
Wow, I've never seen this before.
When your body heat rises, Degree Ultra Dry's powerful new form releases extra protection when you need it most.
This is one of the few products that can keep up with me. It kept me dry. Ultra Dry.
Works better than my old stick.
New Degree Ultra Dry. Now more than ever, your body heat turns it on.
The proof is in the pits.
Right, the way to do it is take the body out and the head's gonna fall. You gotta rip. You gotta dig.
Butterbean takes on Troy Roberts and Lamont Brewster battles Terry McGroom. Friday at 8 on ESPN2.
After 30 of the 34 laps at Laguna Seca, here is the current running order with Didier Andre and his Motorola Mack Trucks Pac West Lola setting the pace. He started from the pole position looking for his first win this year, his best of 98 on the podium at Nazareth where he was second and third in the wide open spaces of Burke Lakefront Airport in Cleveland, Ohio. Expecting to go green this time by the start-finish line. They begin to pick up a little speed coming to turn 11 and then the run up the hill. And as they take the green, we'll have 3 laps to go.
And Didier Andre will definitely be feeling the pressure. There's nothing like a pressure cooker of sitting behind the pace car knowing that you're that close to a breakthrough win.
And keep in mind, Smith being pressured here. Boss is right over the backside and battles further back in the pack. Philippe Giafone making a move. He started 18th and he's worked his way into the top 10. Started to say, keep in mind that there is a lap car behind, directly behind our race leader Didier Andre. That's Philip Peter. He's down a lap. His teammate Servia is running second.
So one other thing when you talk about pressure, Didier Andre has not won a race since 1992 in karts. So if you think that's not a pressure cooker, because it is really, like we said in the opening, it is a huge psychological difference when you can bring one of these cars across and get that breakthrough win. Then all of a sudden you know for sure that you can really do it.
Yeah, that time he was at what, 17 years of age when he last won in karts. Now he's 23. That's a long dry spell, and he is closing in on the first possibility of a victory here with just over a couple of laps to go. completing the lap out of 11 and back up the hill, and as he flashes under the bridge, it'll be 2 laps remaining, about 4.5 miles. Guy Smith has been warned on the radio, we are told, by the crew and kart officials for blocking, and it's the second move that usually results in some kind of a penalty. And you can see right there Jeff Boss was looking for any opportunity in the red, white, and blue number 14.
Jeff Boss is kind of wondering, hey, what do I have to do here today to get by anybody? He's been patient, but you know, it may come to the point now where Jeff is just going to have to get aggressive and make it happen. Guy Smith certainly did not give him the inside lane, was moving across and looking in the mirrors, and that's what the stewards, Terry Dale in particular, will be watching closely.
Want to mention real quick, guys, Philippe Giafone out of the race in the pits. What a great run he had. It's over for the day.
Oh, that's too bad. He started 18th, worked his way up to 9th, and then something happened there on the restart, and that's a tough break for Giafone, who was 4th in championship points. Didier Andre, very impressive at the way he has responded here to the pressure, the challenges of the restarts in the late going in search of his first win. And you should see white flags displayed from the flag stand. There it is, underneath the Honda bridge with 2.3 miles to go.
And this is the point when you start hearing things. This is when you think you hear something with the engine. You think maybe, you know, the brakes are not performing the way that they were. It's just, it's kind of amazing, Gary. This last lap, when you're looking for your first win, seems like it takes forever.
And we understand that there'll be a black flag to Smith in car number 6, currently in 4th place. He is getting a black flag on course. Now that may dump him down in the final standings, even though we're running on the final lap of the race. So the stewards apparently decided that the blocking was too flagrant to ignore, and a penalty imposed for the driver of car number 6, who is probably going to be denied a top 5 finish as a result.
Now what's going to happen is that if he ignores the black flag, they could not score the final lap. That would be serious. But if he does heed the black flag and drive through the pits, he may only lose a couple of spots, because you can cross the finish line even if you're on pit road.
Well, one turn to negotiate. Didier Andre, the 23-year-old driver from Lyon, France, making the turn and looking now toward checkered flags and his first Indy Lights Championship victory. 3 solid finishes at the end of 1997 launched him into the year this year, where we mentioned he'd been on the podium twice previously with a 2nd and a 3rd, but now he finally has the coveted win. You see the reaction from the crew down there. Everybody enjoying the moment along pit road as Didier Andre gets the victory. Serbia finishing 2nd, Higgins 3rd, and the question will be, will Guy Smith end up in 4th, or will he be bumped down because of the black flag on the final lap? The 8th different winner of this championship season that is now 13 events old and just 1 event away from conclusion. A great moment for the young Frenchman Didier Andre as he acknowledges the crowd here at Laguna Seca. He did it in wire-to-wire fashion. It is the 7th time in now 13 Indy Lights races at Laguna Seca that the winner has come from the pole position. So the Sea-Doo Ski-Doo man gets the job done and rides up the hill one final time. We'll be going to Victory Lane, where Rick DeBrule will soon be talking to our winner, Didier Andre. We invite you to stay tuned for that.
Introducing the Midas battery. Now for just $49.99 with rebate. Batteries, brand new from Midas.
It's Thrifty Car Rental's 40th birthday, so let's get the show on the road. Call 1-800-4CARS. There's something special going on at Thrifty Car Rental and Blockbuster Video. You rent a car from Thrifty, you get a free movie rental from Blockbuster Video. Just ask. When you rent a car at Thrifty, you'll drive home with a free movie rental from Blockbuster Video. Get the show on the road with Thrifty Car Rental and Blockbuster Video. Call 1-800-4CARS.
This weekend, Core Off-Road Racing, Friday at 10. The race is on. RPM tonight, Saturday at 5:30. If it moves fast, looks cool, and wins races, it's on ESPN2. Formula One Prop Tour, Sunday at 10:30. All kinds of racing, all weekend long. The race is on ESPN2.
Today's Indy Lights Championship racing from Laguna Seca has been brought to you by Dayton Tire, performance for every road. And by Yamaha, who invites you to visit your local Yamaha dealership to see the entire line of 1998 motorcycles, ATVs, and watercraft.
Didier Andre, congratulations, just arrived here in Victory Circle, and you got to be excited. First victory since 1992 in a kart. How did it feel?
Yeah, I feel much better now. You know, we did a great job with the Paquist Motorola team. I had the pole position, and I stay first during all the race. And for me, it's beautiful, even for me and for the team too. It's the first victory for the Paquist Light team, so it's great.
And you were saying you're planning to be back next year with this team if everything goes right.
Yeah, and I think now I'm gonna sign my contract.
Get that man a pen right now. Didier Andre with his first Lights victory. Servia, Higgins, Guy Smith now, for the moment, in fourth place on the provisional rundown. They are reviewing the scenario. He got the black flag. We won't know as we go off the air what his final position will end up being as we scan down through the rest of the field. And this the 13th round of this PPG Dayton Indy Lights Championship season. Now, let's hear from some of the others on the podium. Oriol Servia for Doricott Racing ends up in the #2 spot, and I think Rick's with him right now.
Oriol Servia, congratulations on a hard-fought second place out there. Biggest battle you had today was with your teammate.
Yeah, I mean, you know, when the one in front of you is your teammate, you have different things in your head. You want to pass him, but you don't want to take too much risk, because if both go out and more in the track, in the home track, then it would be very bad. But we did a very good race. My mechanics prepared the car perfect with engineer. Just Didier was too fast, you know, sometimes. But well, it's our first year here, and I think next year I'm going to be the fast.
He's ready for that first place.
Wants to be the fastest already in 99. We check up on the championship points. D'Amata has clinched the championship. Now, if Guy Smith holds the fourth place finish, he has 119 points. Derek Higgins at 88. They're involved in this battle for Rookie of the Year, and we'll be keeping an eye on that going to the season ender down at Fontana. Speaking of Derek Higgins, on the podium last week at Vancouver, here he is again. Let's see what he has to say with Rick the Brule.
Higgins, we got to talk to you. Great third-place finish, but contact with a couple guys out there. Only one. Let's talk about what happened.
I mean, to be honest, I got by Guy cleanly. I mean, Guy blocked me when I went to go up the inside and moved straight across on me. So if there was contact there, to be honest, I think he was being very dangerous, because they said, don't move over, you know, and I came out to go beside him and he just came straight across. So as far as I was concerned, that's a bit strange. The one with Cristiano, to me, I gave him, I got up the inside, I went left, I went over the rumble strips trying to miss him. And you know, what am I supposed to do? You can't get out of the way completely. I mean, you do your bit. I mean, he had enough room to go around the outside of me.
So you think it's just a racing accident?
Well, if he thinks otherwise, then fine. I mean, they didn't black flag me. They had, I don't know how many laps of black flag me, and they didn't. But if I go over the rumble strips trying to avoid contact, who's to blame? In your opinion?
Derek Higgins, third place, already has his cup.
And with that, we are out of time. The National Spelling Bee coming up next. We congratulate Didier Andre. He's now a winner in Indy Lights Championship competition. For DeBrule, Beekes, and Gerald, so long from Laguna Seca.